if you are someone who has a lot of interests and you can't decide what to do first, so you end up doing nothing at all, or you guilt yourself into abandoning projects because you feel like you can't give time to all of them equally, and then it messes with your head so much that you decide to never pick it up again. Hi. I have been dancing this dance for the last 5 years, so I know a little about it, and I'm going to share with my trusty little iPad yet again. So one of the quotes that I read recently that really stuck with me. Uh, it was based on a poem by Sylvia Plath, the lady who put her head in the oven. But apart from that, she was pretty nice. So the poem is about a fig tree, which talks about your life being represented as a lot of figs on a tree, and you have to choose one and live with it, and the rest of the possibilities and options fall away because they're rot. So it talks about the pressure of making a choice and the pain of not living a life that you could not choose because you had to choose some other path. So the quote is, "My figs cannot rot, for I am the tree." So true. I write, I read, I dance, I paint, I do DIY projects, like anything that looks fun to me. I do a lot of stuff. I read like a lot of research stuff, papers. I'll do anything honestly if it interests me. So I used to be so stuck in my own head because I used to feel so guilty for not being able to create with consistency, with something greater than passion, something that would actually make something out of the things that I loved. But I did not have a very clear roadmap as to how to navigate being a person like this, somebody who has a lot of varied interests, and there is real life, practical life stuff happening at the same time. So there always used to seem like the world was running on a shortage of time for me, and somehow I figured it out. So I'm going to share a few things that worked for me because I think I've cracked it a little. Whatever I can't crack using my logic, I always turn to God, and then it just happens. So I recently talked to God about this. I'm going to tell you what I spoke about. Okay, number one, you need to write this down and eat it and print it inside your brain. There is no scarcity, there is no lack, there is no shortage of time, of money, of resources, of talent, of skill, of opportunities for you, for me, for everybody. You need to really, like, source trust me, bro, but trust me, genuinely trust me on this. There is no lack of anything in this world. Okay? Take a second and sit with it. Next. Second thing that you need to print inside your brain, you need to understand there is no pressure. The only pressure that you feel, I used to feel, was coming from the outside world, from comparing myself with other people, obviously, from feeling like I was so behind. And like, even though I'm 22, uh, I used to feel when I was even younger that I was way behind and that I was losing out. Like, so many other people were doing so much more than me, and I used to feel so sad about it. And I used to honestly feel very sorry for myself. But I realized it's not a race. You are not behind. And I feel like sometimes we forget that the people that we compare ourselves to, we don't have the same lives as them. Maybe I had more baggage to deal with than them, or maybe they had more privilege than me, or maybe their opportunities came through a place of better relationships or better connections in life, which is all stuff that is not in our control, all stuff that we can't really plan ahead, if that makes sense, right? Also, a lot of stuff that you want to do, that I wanted to do, one thing that's really helped me is realizing that I don't have to be perfect at something to do it. Like, you don't have to release an album to sing. Like, you could just play music and just sing in your room. That's a very extreme example, but my point is, give yourself the permission to be bad at things and still do it just to enjoy it. You don't have to post your painting or post your dance video for you to do that thing. Because so many times I used to think, what is the point of even doing it if it doesn't amount to something practical, physical, something that can get me money or opportunities, or maybe even like a post on social media. So learn to do things just for the fun of doing it, right? Okay, next. There are some words that you need to erase erase from your vocabulary, like delete first. Hustle, delete. It makes me so angry. The word makes me so angry. Hustle culture and hustle and work, work, work. It makes me so physically angry. I cannot explain it to you because it goes against the very grain of human nature, of nature in general. You are not supposed to work. You are not supposed to do more to get more. You are not supposed to be constantly hustling and making and creating to reap the rewards and benefits. Delete that word. You need to relax. You need to go back to yourself, go back to being a chill human for inspiration and creativity and flow to come to you. You can't create and you can't have a good life from a place of hustling. Okay, next. Realistic. Hate it, delete it, eradicate it, release it from your life. People tell you to be realistic because they want to keep you small. Okay, realistic is a very disgusting word. There is nothing realistic about this world. Your name is not real. You just need an identity. That is why you have a name. Nothing is realistic. Be unrealistic. Have you seen this universe? Have you seen this, the precision of nature? Have you seen the crazy world around you? Nothing in this world is so logical and simple. There is magic involved in every single thing on this planet and beyond. So there is nothing called realistic. Like, when somebody speaks like that to me, Nancy, you need to be realistic. Get away. Take your tiny, shallow ass brain and your limiting beliefs away from me. I will do it all. I will have it all. I will do anything I put my mind to. So can you. Why? Because you have to be unrealistic. The universe is not on a budget. There is abundance of resources, of love that you can receive for your work, for the things that you love. You need to be just gutsy enough to ask. That's all you have to do. This is a universe governed by free will. All you need to do is ask. That is literally it. So, fuck realistic. Release. Next. Selfish. I don't know why, but so many words in the English language have been given such a negative connotation to it. Words whose roots have energy of actually changing your life. Like, for example, we're told to never speak out our dreams and desires, like nazar lag jayegi, and you'll jinx it, stuff like that. When the very nature of manifesting is to speak out things and affirm things to yourself. In the same way, the energy of the word selfish by root is very positive. It is to be full of yourself. I am very selfish. I am full of myself. I love protecting myself. I love loving myself. I love being there for myself. I love providing for myself. I love enjoying my time with myself. You need to be full of yourself. You need to be very selfish. And then words like selfless are glorified, where you are without yourself. You are selfless. And that is considered good somehow. That you are sacrificing yourself for other people. Disgusting. Remove, delete, eradicate. Okay. Now, once you have done that, in a world that forces you to be fast, to be efficient, to be snap, 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 do it quickly, you need to step back and realize what your own pace looks like. Because when you slow down, that is where the magic actually happens. Because A, you get time to sit with your feelings, and those feelings usually inspire the most beautiful creations. Now, I'm not saying you need to create one thing or the other for it to make sense. Like, I'm saying if you have a lot of interest, and suppose if you want to paint about it or dance about it, I'm not saying choose. I'm just saying at least the feeling will come up, and then you can decide what to do with it, right? And second, when you actually slow down enough to be bored, that is when your brain gets the time to decide that it wants to actually create something. And if you spend your time like ruminating or distracting yourself with easy guilty pleasures, no matter how much time you have in the world, you'll keep feeling guilty about not being able to create. Things speed up when you don't give in to the temptation of rushing yourself, and you learn to respect your own pace. Now, with me, I started picking up on very subtle cues for my body and my energy and my brain and the way my head functions for me to pick up on what I'm feeling like doing today. Like if I want to paint, if I want to write or dance about like a specific thing with a specific intention. What your pace looks like completely depends on you. For me, some days it looks like doing nothing, lying in my bed, listening to music, reading a book, meditating. Some days it looks like dancing, painting, writing, everything all in one day. Depends on you, on what you're feeling like, what your energy is feeling like. When you try to create from your brain and try to schedule your passion and your different interests, it will more often than not lead you into failure because your brain is not the one creating, your heart is. So why not lead with your heart in the first place, right? You have to sit with yourself long enough for you to get to know yourself and all of these other sides of you who want to create those different things. Because my personality when it comes to dancing is very different from my personality when it comes to writing. When in a present moment you're feeling something and your brain wants to categorize that feeling into some sort of box, you have options then. When you have those different personalities, you have options of choosing what you feel like doing with it. Instead of maybe distracting yourself, you can choose that, okay, if I want to treat this specific feeling or issue with a boost of confidence, so I would dance in that situation. If I want to feel sad about it and let it out and process the feeling with just warmth, I would probably write about it. So you need to like really know yourself for you to be able to be like, how do I say this? Like, very in tune, very in flow with different versions of yourself who like creating different things. If that makes sense. Next question. What are you? Age old question. I'm talking about from very nature perspective. When you see nature, there are no fat animals. Okay? Just giving an example, please. There are no fat animals. There are no fish that don't know how to swim. And there are no birds that don't know how to fly. When you look at nature, my point is everything from their body to their diet to how they are in nature is very harmonious, is very aligned with nature. Why? Because thankfully for them, they don't have as complex a brain as humans. So they don't have any limiting beliefs to keep them stuck. Nature itself runs in harmony. And when you learn to be a human and still be in harmony with nature, that is when you revert to your original state of being, which is creativity. Now, my point with the whole example about the animals was that everything is as it is supposed to be, and everything is wired for success when it comes to nature. So, don't ever assume that you are not wired for success too. You just have to go back to how you started. You were born perfect and whole as a child, and then just imagine like yourself, and then layers on layers on layers of limiting beliefs, of criticism, of stories about this world being built around you like in a bubble. And you have to, like, if you are somebody who wants to do it all, you have to break through those bubbles and walls one by one day at a time, so that you eventually go back to being that whole version of you again, where nobody ever told you that you were not enough, or that what you dream of is not happening or is not possible, where you had no fears about the world, where you had no sense of, oh, this can't happen for me, you know, or I can't do this, or I can't be all of it. I feel like most things in the world are just basically how you move through life, what kind of mindset you carry. So, this is just something that's really helped me. The two lessons, or the two um, purposes that we have when we come down here on this planet, is one, to learn lessons through relationships, through people in our lives, through experiences, and grow your and evolve your soul basically, in terms of love, in terms of being full of light. But that's a whole separate topic. But the second purpose that you have here on earth is to create, is to enjoy, is to have fun. So the purpose of me telling you this is that when you return to your original state of being, you will realize that it is not difficult at all to be somebody who can do it all when you are backed by God. You have to understand the gravity of that. Because, trust me when I say this, it is very difficult sometimes to talk to other people and function in real life and speak to other people about your dreams, because you know that at some point somebody will say something that will disappoint you or make you shut down. I have felt like this a lot of times with family, with friends, and with even strangers, to be honest. When you firstly go back to yourself, go to God, universe, whatever you want to call it, you will realize just how lucky this world can be if you get to know yourself enough and God enough. So you need to breathe out and relax and know that the more you start creating, the more you start following your whims and passions and all of it. I mean, all of it. The more you will realize that time will bend for you, reality will literally bend for you, opportunity. See, it is now 3:30 a.m., so I can't really blame myself. Okay, opportunities will come to you, luck will find you, the right people will find you. You just need to follow your whimsy, as it were. What I spoke um, about going back to being how you were as a child, as a newborn, even. You were at a state of neutrality, you were at a state of detachment, you were at a state of curiosity, okay, and playfulness. Most important. Master these four things: curiosity for things that excite you, detachment from the outcome and from your creations, neutrality, what is good, bad, all of it just depends on your perception of it. Just separate yourself from your work, from what you create. You are not your work. It is something that you have created, yes, but you are not it. So when you start behaving like a child in those ways is when the universe opens up to you more. You get clearer signs from God, you get better opportunities, you get better direction, and like things just start aligning for you. When you look at your hands or your legs or your face, you don't say, I'm hand, I'm leg, I'm face. You say, this is my hand, my leg, my face. What I mean is, you are not your body, you are not your feelings, your thoughts, your emotions, your creations. You are none of it. You are a neutral, observing consciousness. Why I tell you this is for you to realize the very grand scale of what you are. You can't even imagine how big you are, what you are as a human, all of us. We have so much power that we are just unaware of, untapped, purely untapped potential. But when you do realize just how much you can do, just by realizing how big you are, it makes navigating so many talents and so many creations or so many dreams a lot easier, because you don't think of yourself as a meat suit anymore. You think of yourself as a very capable being of energy who can figure anything out. And it really helps with also channeling creativity from God, because God wants you to succeed and God wants you to create those things, right? So it helps, like that connection with spirituality and with yourself, most importantly, helps with navigating real life, especially for people who have a lot of dreams. One cliche that I want to mention is the power of the present moment. Now, this is important for you to understand, because navigating life, being only and only in the present moment, will help you ground yourself and anchor yourself in reality, so that the passion that comes is not left off for it to die, and also for you to be quick with creating when it comes, whatever comes, and for you to be sensitive enough to pick up on the cues that your body gives you for creating said things in a specific way. Okay, life is one big long present moment. The past and the future is just what we call it to give it a linear frame of reference. Okay, the past is not here anymore, the future is not here yet, none of it is real. The problem arises, according to me, for me it did, when I started leaving my energy and started attaching meaning and value and significance to completely unreal things. Okay, like illusions, and I started living there, like imagining a future where I would be doing the things that I said I would be doing, and then so much of my energy would just be left there. This is spiritual hygiene 101. Okay, you have to call back your energy from ideas, from things that are living either in the past or in the future. Otherwise, your energy ends up leaking all over the place. And the more you invest into thinking about what could have been done about that project, what should be done about the next thing, the more you spend time that is not here right now, your energy will just leak off in all directions, and that will leave your cup empty, and you can't create anything from an empty cup. Now, what can you actually do? There are a few things that I've been trying that have worked for me. First is something that I just call what's next, where I just go about my day asking myself what feels good in the moment. And it can be as simple as making like a cup of coffee or matcha, or cooking something, or drawing something, painting something, or putting on lip gloss. Can be that simple. But um, more often than not, when I'm doing those simple things, is when I get thoughts and ideas for something that is far more important to me, like this, speaking about things, or painting, dancing, whatever. So give yourself permission to not get stuck on the aftermath of what you've created. Let yourself be guided and driven by the fleeting nature of inspiration. Do it, and then ask yourself what's next. What looks fun now? What sounds like exciting in the now? Like, what is the excitement in the present moment that is calling to me? When you keep asking yourself this question throughout the day, you will notice that one, your day gets more fun, and two, you end up creating a lot more. And the intensity of your creations, it can vary and alternate, but by the end of the day, you probably will have created more than you would have created on a day otherwise, where your brain is running the show. Let your heart run the show. Follow the excitement. And you need to be very, very carefully attuned to your heart to listen to what it has to say about the excitement. You can't confuse your brain with your heart. The heart will always feel fun, the brain will always seem logical. One other thing that's worked for me is realizing that I hear on the screen, that is a character, okay? That is, I'm detached from that. Like when I look at myself in these videos, I don't really identify with it, I don't attach meaning to it. That helps me let go of my content, or of the stuff that I create while I'm posting it or putting it out. So I just do it, and then I do, like, I post it, and then I ask myself what's next. So you need to realize that this is not you, this is not me, and what you create is not you. Also, what manifesting talks about in general, about, being the version of you that you want to be in the present moment, start embodying that with a very ruthless approach. Like, every single second of your time should be accounted for in terms of vibration. Okay, you need to really, really ask yourself each second of the day, what I'm doing right now, is it aligned with the version of me that would know how to handle all these talents at once in a single day? It doesn't have to be all of them in one day, but that version of you that knows how to handle that, are you really truly doing justice to that version? Okay, one more thing that's helped me, you can take it, you can leave it, is getting closer to God. Really, like, close. Now I can give you ways that have worked for me, but that is a relationship and a journey that you have to go on your own. I will probably make a video about how things have turned out for me. The closer you get to God, the more safe you feel in existing. It is a very loving relationship. And when you become like this, It is so funny at times. It is so funny. Like sometimes I'm brushing my teeth and a very weird song will be playing, and I'm just like, please, something fun next. And then the next song that plays is always like my jam. So, this is just an example to tell you that you can have a very fun, exciting relationship with God, with the universe. When that happens, you stop worrying about creating and doing everything, because one, you know that God will do everything for you. You just have to show up, listen to God, listen to yourself, the rest will happen. And second, the creativity, the inspiration, the fun, the excitement, it goes beyond what I used to think was humanly possible. Like, I can't explain it, but it comes so easy. Like, when you start talking to God or the universe, whatever you want to call it is as clear to me right now, recently has been, it is as clear to me as talking to somebody on the phone. Like, that is the level of clarity that I have regarding my ideas, regarding my vision, regarding my dreams when I talk to God. So, cultivate that relationship or not, but I'm just saying it's really helped me. Be so enamored with your dreams, be so in love with life, so heavily invested in the process of getting to know yourself that you do not have time to ruminate on anything, any thought that does not serve your beliefs, any thought that tells you that you can't do it all. And a little side tip for the girls, start cycle thinking. Seriously. If you are creative, start cycle thinking. Start working with the moon cycle. Chef's kiss. The last thing I want to say is I hope you realize that you are the tree and your figs cannot rot. That's it. Okay, bye.